Hi, and welcome back to the WI Cookery School, where we're learning how to make a pizza. Earlier on we made the basic white dough. There's a link on the screen now and you can go and actually make the basic white dough. And pizza is a very popular food, but actually a homemade pizza, you know what you've put in it, you've got no preservatives in it, no chemicals, you can make your own dough. You can make the dough the night before and leave it in the fridge, and then when you've got your dough, it makes 500 grams of dough, you can divide it in half because this is enough to make two lovely big pizza bases. So divide the dough in half, knock it back down, shape it into the right shape. Always start with the shape you want, and when you shape it, can you see I'm tucking under with my hands the dough so it pulls the dough nice and tight on the top, so you've got a really nice smooth ball of dough. Gently press down. Now it's very elastic, so to start with it's going to want to fight back, so a little bit of flour. Don't go crazy with the flour, and with your fingertips just start to walk your fingers out, turn it over and really push down quite firmly to start and work the dough out. Once you've got it under control, take a rolling pin, either a wooden one ideally, if not a plastic one. Always flour the pin, so a little bit of flour on the pin, and then roll. And when you roll, always stand with your feet firmly on the ground with your body in front and roll straight. I see people rolling like this at really odd angles and it actually will not work. So always roll straight and roll once and turn and roll again and turn, and as you can see it really doesn't want to be rolled, so you've got to tell it who's boss. So really just keep rolling and put even weight on the pin, and you can hear the bubbles. I don't think you can see them, but you can hear the bubbles crack. If it does that and sticks a little bit, just reflour the pin, and if you've got dough on it, just scrape it. Don't keep rolling with lots of dough stuck on. So off we go again and just roll, and eventually it will roll, and keep going and keep going. I'm not Italian, so I can't spin the dough. However, if you want to give that a go, do. Can you see now that's rolled out to a nice thin base, and just give that another extra roll and turn it round. And then we're going to pop it onto a tray. Now there's many different trays, just use your own baking tin at home, a cake tin, or if you have a pizza pan, then by all means use the pizza pan. Lift the dough up, do not be frightened of it, it's very forgiving. And then again, ease it out with your fingertips. If you want to do a stuffed crust, you can do a stuffed crust, and you literally put the cheese in and roll the crust over. But we're doing a basic pizza today. So just make sure you really push it out so it's nice and even. And there's your pizza base ready. Now you can, if you don't want to make both pizzas at once, you can pop that in the freezer and just freeze the dough ready, and then you can bake it from frozen. So you can freeze it very easily, or you can pop it in the fridge overnight, and then the next day put your pizza toppings on. I've made one for you that has risen. So you can see the difference. This one has now been allowed to prove, and it's now really nice and light and has risen up to a nice crust. So now we're going to top it. We have got a lovely selection here. Now, obviously a pizza you can top with whatever you would like. So I'm just showing you a selection here, but it's a great way of making a lovely healthy snack or lunch. So onto my base, I'm going to be using some red pesto. You can use a pizza sauce if you wish, but pesto, you don't need very much of it. It's not quite as wet as a pizza sauce if you want a really crispy base. I've got some mozzarella, some black olives, some little tomatoes, some sun-dried tomatoes, and then I've got some lovely parmesan and some salami, and then I've also got some Parmesan cheese and some oregano. So lots of really lovely ingredients. So just to assemble it, just take your pesto, always use a spoon, don't try and spread with a knife, and use the back of the spoon and just spread it out. Leave a crust around the edge, and as much as you would like, but you don't need masses. A couple of tablespoons is ample. Then onto the top of that, we're going to pop our other ingredients. So we've got some lovely hams here. So just place them on. Now you can be as creative as you want to be with this, but bear in mind you want to make sure that most people get a piece of everything in the slices. So some nice meats, but you could use a normal ham, you could use, put pineapple on it, whatever your favourite is. Even just a plain margarita pizza is lovely, just done with tomato sauce and fresh mozzarella and some basil. So place your meats on, and a lovely way of creating something without it being too difficult. And then some tomatoes on the top of there. So some lovely pieces of tomato, cherry tomatoes that have been halved. Some olives, so black olives, but if you don't like black olives, obviously you could use green olives. And then we've got some lovely sun-dried tomatoes here to go on the top. You can see we're creating the most delicious looking pizza. I think it's probably slightly big for one person, but, or it could be shared, whichever you prefer. Some mozzarella. So these are the little mini mozzarella balls, which are easy to use, but actually you could also just use a ball of mozzarella and break it up. And the buffalo mozzarella is delicious, made from the buffalo milk, which is a milk which is actually slightly lower in cholesterol. And then some oregano. So I've got some dried oregano here. And then I'm going to pop on some fresh herbs at the end. A drizzle, parmesan, used to go on there, a little bit of grated parmesan on the top, drizzle of olive oil, and there's our pizza, ready to go into our oven to bake. And so that could sit in the fridge as well until you're ready to use it. So I'm going to go over to the oven and place that in the oven, and I have one cooking. So here we are. There's our pizza, all nicely finished. I know you can't smell it, but it smells amazing. I hope you've enjoyed making it with me today, and I hope you enjoy making your own next time. So good luck and thank you.